Looks like we've got another "I didn't think the leopards would eat my face" story. And this one, of course, is absolutely perfect. Chef's kiss, right? So there is this man, Francisco Olivera, living in California. He's a U.S. citizen, right? And back in November, the man voted for Donald Trump, like millions of other people, okay? Why? Well, he wanted mass deportation. He wanted Donald Trump to crack down on illegal immigration. I mean, he bought into the whole damn thing, okay? But here's the thing. His wife, Cynthia, came to the United States from Canada when she was just 10 years old. She was a child, okay? She grew up here. She pretty much is an American, went to school here. And look, Francisco and his wife, Cynthia, they've been together for about 10 years. I'm sorry, more than 10 years. They've been together just for years. They have 3 children together. All, of course, are U.S. citizens, unless Donald Trump has his way, which then he would denaturalize all of them. And in 2023, they hired a lawyer to finally get her legal residency sorted out through their marriage. Okay. Now, Cynthia had a deportation order from back in 1999. So she went to Canada for her mother's funeral, tried to come back through Buffalo. Border agents denied her reentry. And you got to be kidding me with this, right? So she had mentioned that she was planning to get pregnant. So they didn't want her to come back, apparently, to have an anchor baby or something. I don't know. So, but anyway, she ended up crossing back through San Diego illegally 26 years ago. Fast forward to June 13th of this year. Cynthia goes to her green card interview in Chatsworth, which should have been routine, right? And they're doing, pretty much everything by the book now. Okay, they're working with a lawyer. They're trying to make it legal, trying to make up for that past unauthorized border crossing. But now, thanks to the Trump regime, ICE detains her right during the interview. And they don't just detain her locally. No, they transfer her to El Paso, about 800 miles away from her family. And so Francisco, the guy who voted for mass deportation, now has a problem with mass deportations. Oops. Oh, is that so?
Whoopsie.
Oh, it turns out voting for the mass deportation guy led to the detention and probably deportation of my wife. Oops. Oh, no. Yeah. And now he's saying, quote, "I want my vote back. I voted for change, but I didn't vote for this change." Oh, well, of course. Yeah, you didn't vote for this change. Let me just ask you, what exactly did you believe that mass deportation meant? What, did you think that Donald Trump was going to personally review every single case and say, "Oh, I don't know, this one's married to a man who voted for me, I'm going to leave her alone," because, those are my people. No, not at all. This is what mass deportation looks like, folks. This is not some surgical strike or whatever that only targets the bad ones. You think that somebody who illegally crossed the border but otherwise did nothing else deserves to be not only detained but also sent back? That's ridiculous. Why would you argue for that? What? I don't quite understand the people that are like, well, they shouldn't have crossed the border whatsoever. They deserve everything they get. What? That's a misdemeanor. Oh, they're criminals. Misdemeanor, folks. Misdemeanor. It's like a traffic ticket. What, you MAGA guys, you never had a traffic ticket before? Yeah, right. Sure. Okay. Not buying that one at all. Look, here's the thing. Trump's deportation force, right, his whole mass deportation plan, it's nothing more than a sledgehammer. Okay? It doesn't care if you've been here for 35 years, doesn't care if your kids are citizens, doesn't care if you're going through the legal process, doesn't care if you came here as a child. It doesn't matter. And it especially doesn't care if your husband voted for Trump. Okay? But you know what gets me, though? And I'm sure you can all agree with this. Francisco supported mass deportation when he believed that it would only affect other people, other families, other communities, the others. He was fine with the cruelty as long as it was happening over there to someone else, not to him. And so that's the problem. Okay, immigration enforcement doesn't work that way. You see, when you vote for mass deportations, you're voting for this. You're voting for ICE to detain a 45-year-old mother of 3 at a green card interview and ship her 800 miles away from her family. And by the way, at our cost. Okay. Here's the thing about mass deportation. It wastes so much money. It is so incredibly expensive to do. And we are stuck paying for that way more than we ever would. And by the way, immigrants also, undocumented and legal immigrants, they provide a substantial amount of money to the federal government. Okay, not just the federal government, state government, local businesses. I mean, they pay taxes, they stimulate economies, they do all these good things for this country. Now, with the mass deportations, that's gone. And on top of that, we're actually wasting money funding ICE, funding these court cases, funding enforcement. We're losing out on so much, okay? And that's in addition to people who vote for families to be ripped apart, okay? Which is a tragedy in itself. I mean, literally voting for kids to lose their parents, their mother. I mean, you know, talk about like, oh, the families, where are the parents? Kids only do well when you have 2 loving parents. Well, you just rip those people apart. You rip those families apart, bro. And of course, Francisco is like, I want my vote back. Sorry, bro, that's not how this works. Okay, you don't get to support cruelty and then opt out when it affects you personally. You don't get to cheer for the leopards and then complain when it decides to eat your face. That's not how this works. Okay? Look, this is the Trump administration that this man voted for. These are the policies that he supported. And now, man's got to live with the consequences, but not just him, but also his children. Yeah. Now, the only difference between his family and the thousands of other families that are being torn apart is that he thought that he was exempt. And it turns out he wasn't. If this video helped you cut through the BS and see what is really happening, then smash that like button. Every single like pushes back against the right-wing propaganda machine. I can't do this work without your support. So please check out my Patreon. Link is in the description of this video. For a few bucks a month, you can help keep this channel independent from corporate BS. So hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's keep fighting for democracy and against fascism together.